and welcome to another edition of Escape from SideQuest. I am Joe Dubs.
I'm Andy.
And this is the bi-weekly video games where we just come here and we talk about video games because we're fucking nerds. Andy, what the hell you been playing?
Almost all the same stuff as last time, unfortunately. I'm still piddling away in Pokemon White. I've had a lot of stuff going on in like my big boy adult life, so I haven't got to play a lot of video games. But I streamed Ultimate Runes of Virtue last week, and I'm thinking I might stream it again tonight or tomorrow. And was the Beat Saber DLC out last show? Or whatever. I have the Beat Saber DLC, so I've been playing a bunch of Beat Saber. It's a ton of fun. And then I jumped back into Super Hot, as long as I had the little headset on to do it. It's still great.
Yeah, I watched your playback of you playing Beat Saber. I think it was recent, right?
Fairly recent. I've streamed it 2 or 3 times since the DLC came out.
What's funny is like seeing you play VR games and then just hearing you just go, "This is fucking awesome." Like, that's really good. I mean, I like VR, but I still think it's just a gimmick that is eventually going to die out.
Well, it's not what Sony thinks.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of money into that, and we'll talk a bit about that soon, of State of Play. So, I think it was last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week the Tom Clancy Division 2 came out, and I played it, and I am at level 22. And the cap is level 30, and there is an end game and stuff. I really like it. Playing in Washington, D.C. is really interesting. When the first Division came out, it was very bare bone. There was like 3 or 4 missions, and it was just bland. Division 2, there is so much shit to do that it can get overwhelming, but you level up pretty quickly, and if you're with a group, it could be really fun. I just haven't had time to play with my friends because they all have lives, because we're all adults, and work schedules get in the way. So I've been doing solo and matchmaking, and I've been having some decent people in matchmaking where they actually help out and they communicate. Not a lot of communicating these days on online play, which is...
How long does missions and stuff take whenever you match with people?
When you match with people, it usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah.
I thought it'd be way longer. I thought it was like a big old massive kind of game.
No, they do have their events and their, like... I know the end game is longer. Like, you're playing like 30 to an hour on that mission. But the other ones, you could go through a mission like 15 to 20 minutes. It will take longer if there is a part of the mission where it's going to be hard and you're always dying. And when you die, there's a point where you can't have any respawns. And when you lose, you go back to the checkpoint.
Bummer.
Yeah, so...
How's the story?
The story is okay. I really don't care for it. If you remember in the first one, during Black Friday, they had a virus outbreak. And in Washington, D.C., they're kind of rebuilding the government, if that's positive in any way, I guess. There's these, like, groups. There's the hyenas, and then there's the Sons, like, I guess the Sons of Liberty kind of people.
Both stupid names.
Yeah, they are the bad guys. They want to have anarchy 24/7.
Are they working together, or is it just like a 3-sided?
It's a 3-sided, but you're the division. You're part of the government, the U.S. government, trying to reform the government back. And you're fighting against these gangs to get rid of them, so that you could restore because the president is in this game.
Are they just like gangs, or are they like an organized militia, or are they? I saw something that led me to believe that they were like domestic terrorists that had organized militia and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's something like that, but I would consider them more gangs than anything. I mean, they do have weapons and shit. They do have... They're kind of like ISIS in a way. So yeah, organized terrorists. Because they do have leaders. What's great about this division, in order to take control of the streets, you have to control certain points and certain choke areas. And when you take over a control point, you have to kill their leader. So it's very addicting, and having your armor and your weapon and always upgrading and shit, like that could be addicting too, because like I had the M60, I had a level 6 that I was rocking with, and then all of a sudden I got like a level 20, and it shoots way better, and you're always striving to get better equipment.
It's interesting that it's like, I don't know, like, whenever I think about military shooters, I don't think about improving gear that way. That's really cool.
Yeah. If you ever get it, I mean, I didn't get it for PlayStation yet, but I'm down to group up if you want to try it out. If it
Maybe. That's a world I haven't been back to in a long time. Online shooters and stuff.
I wouldn't even. It is a shooter, but it's like, it's a looter shooter. But it plays more like an MMO. Like there is a tank, there is a healer, and there is a ranger, pretty much, just with guns.
Yeah.
Just wait for a sale. Yeah. I say if it goes down to like $30 or $20, then buy it. That's a good sale. And Ubisoft has been doing weird sales lately because the new Assassin's Creed is like $30, and they already slashed the Far Cry, the expansion for 5. That's now $20. So I don't know.
Ubisoft sent me an email the other day telling me some of my Ubi points or whatever, like the points on their little service thing with Wire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was looking at my phone and I read that. I think I said out loud, "Who the fuck cares?" Like, I mean, I like some of the rewards. I was really like, if you play 2 of their games, like if you play Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six, you get like an Assassin's Creed themed thing in Rainbow Six and vice versa. Stuff like that. I like that. Like if you play Ghost Recon, you get like the Ghost's helmet or something like that. It's not a specific example, but it's always something along those lines. I like that a lot. But then you can use the points to get digital downloads of backgrounds and stuff and gun skins. I mean, I got like a gun skin in Rainbow Six Siege that makes all of your weapons look like elephant skin. It was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, they used to, the Uplay points, you were able to put that towards another game and get a discount on it, just how like Nintendo does.
Yeah.
But they stopped that for some strange reason, probably because people bought a lot of games and like now they they get mad discounts.
Yeah, it accumulated a bunch, I'll bet.
And they're like, oh no, we're not making any money. Oh no.
Yeah, so I mean, they're not really worth anything. I know it was a little bit of a side thought, but I got that email and I kind of forgot I had Uplay points.
Yeah, and what they also do is they, if you go on Uplay on PC, I don't know how they do it on console, but you can use those. God bless you. You could use those Uplay points to get like items and shit. Like I know in Division 2 I was able to get this outfit and stuff, but that's bullshit.
In Siege, it like opens in a little side browser thing on the screen, so I think it's built into individual games on the console. But that's the only Ubisoft game I've played this generation, I think. On 360, I owned a fuck ton. I had like both Ghost Recons and Hawks and Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2, Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, a bunch of shit.
Fucking N-War. If anybody remembers that game.
I played it and I did not stick with it.
Yeah, it had a really, really good teaser site that they had. If anybody remembers that, they had like radio signals of like the end of the world, World War III and shit. It was pretty.
And War was neat. It was a RTS in the Tom Clancy vein.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth checking out if the words I just said sounded interesting to you. But really, as far as RTSs go, it was like a subpar par RTS. as far as Tom Clancy games go, it didn't have clever writing, I thought. I'm not saying every Tom Clancy game has clever writing or anything, but it didn't feel Tom Clancy-y.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a strange premise for a three-way World War III. Oh, it was okay. I think it had that gimmick where you could use the mic to give your soldiers commands. And I remember thinking, oh, that's gonna be badass. And then it barely worked, so I stopped using it pretty much immediately.
Yeah, Tom Clancy back in the day was like really good. I feel like it's tainted now because
Yeah, they did a bunch of side stuff that kind of like. I mean, I got Hawks and I like Hawks, but it also never felt very Tom Clancy. It's like it's just the Trinity. You got Rainbow Six, you got your Splinter Cell, you got your Ghost Recon. Those feel Tom Clancy.
yeah, but even those where I was kind of like, all right, I kind of get it. Now we're getting the point of view of like a jet fighter and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they branched out. It's just so weird it's a brand, Tom Clancy. Because he's such a great writer and everything. I understand that.
It's so annoying when you stream or go on YouTube and try to like. You would be like, hey, I'm gonna type in Division 2 and it's gonna pop up. No, in the search bar you have to type in Tom Clancy's Division 2, and I'm like,
yeah, they're all. It has bugged me to this day whenever I alphabetize my games, whether I'm going to put them all under Tom Clancy or I'm going to put them under their own thing. I think I have finally decided on Tom Clancy, except in PlayStation 4 where it actually goes under Rainbow Six because it's not Tom Clancy.
mm-hmm.
But they all have the same spine, and I like them all sitting next to each other. It's like the kind of faded block text spine.
That's interesting. They didn't slap the Tom Clancy name on Rainbow Six Siege.
No, they did. I just ignored it.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna be like, man, Rainbow was all about Tom Clancy. I remember Raven Shield. I fucking loved that game.
Oh yeah, there were a bunch of them back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember the one on 64. I hated it, but I was like younger, so I didn't. I just kind of wanted to run and shoot guys, and I kept getting killed, and I was like, God damn it, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, this is kind of.
I've matured.
This is kind of off topic from Tom Clancy, but it's kind of within the same realm. I'm itching to play SWAT 4.
Really? SWAT 4 of all things?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like, any of the SWAT games, like, I do have SWAT 2, the one where it's, like, over the top, and then you get to move your guys and shit. But I've been in the mood to play those games. I don't know why.
Get them. They can't be much.
I could probably get it on GOG. But yeah, let's move on to some I almost said movies. News that matter to us. Can't speak.
Game news matter.
Yeah.
Mark Ostrich.
Blah 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 blah. Google Stadia. So they were teasing this pretty much for the entire month until recently when GDC happened, and people were wondering if it was going to be a console. A lot of people were like, well, I'm part of this Google streaming beta thing, so I'm pretty sure it's streaming wise, and those people were right. Google Stadia is a streaming service. If anybody remembers OnLive, that wonderful thing that kind of came and went, Google is trying it, and we're all gonna have to face it one day that physical media might die out, and pretty much streaming and digital are going to be the new thing, which the business has been talking about for a while now.
Microsoft really wants that to happen. They're supposed to be working on this discless Xbox One right now.
Mm-hmm.
So same kind of course, in their instance, they want you to buy the digital game and have it, but then they also have the Game Pass. Everyone's got a pass now. Sony's got it. Microsoft's got it.
Yeah, but I know I've been back and forth where I was like, oh, I kind of prefer digital because it's less room in my house. But now since I've been going back on my retro, getting retro consoles and games, like physical media is good because you get to own it. Even though in digital you do buy it and it is yours, but when that internet goes out, let's just say a worldwide internet just dies. Some of these are tethered to online services that you will not own these games anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's bad.
I don't think the internet's going to go anywhere, but we have seen in the past, there's a lot of digital-only alarmists that I guess I probably pitch my tent in that camp too, because it's stuff like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 like just disappeared digitally because of some stupid rights snafu after Disney bought Marvel and those things, and they didn't really come to terms with it. The Simpsons arcade game, along with the X-Men arcade game, were both available on the 360 digitally for a little while, and then they just they disappeared. Now they're gone because a rights thing, like the rights expired, and X-Men the arcade game, I think, came back, but the Simpsons arcade game is still gone. It was available like for barely a year. It's the only time it's ever been available outside of like an actual arcade cabinet. So, I can't point to, you should have got the physical release instead, because it doesn't exist. But you can point to it and say, this is the kind of shit that they can pull with digital, and it's just out of everyone's control. It's, we lost the rights.
Yeah, and it's really bad because, like, you could have the game in your hand. Like, I have Metal Gear Acid in my hand right now. If it was digital in some way, and let's say I didn't have this in my hand, and Konami decided, hey, fuck you, I don't want your my game on your console or streaming service and stuff, that game is gone forever. Unless Konami or whatever game company decides to put it back on there. At least when you have the physical media, you can pretty much say all the the game company, go fuck yourself, I have it and I'm gonna pop it in my system and play it because it's yours.
Thank God for emulation.
Yeah, but even that is kind of scary now, where you have Nintendo, and I think
I understand. Emulation's never gonna go. Piracy's never gonna go anywhere. Piracy has existed since the internet and will always exist. I think so anyway. It's just the routes we have to go through to get stuff is going to become more difficult. But if I want to download a MAME emulator and play the Simpsons arcade game, go fuck yourself,
Yeah, so this is streamable. You can play it on your computer. They showed it on cell phones and shit, and also your TV. I bet you they're gonna have apps for TVs that you could hook it up.
They showed off a controller. It looks like every other controller. 2 analog sticks, about the same.
And you could also use other controllers. You could use an Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I believe a Steam controller could work too.
Yeah, I got the impression that that's what they wanted this to be. It seemed like a Steam box that specialized in streamable, a la carte blanche, whatever the phrase I'm trying to, like stuff like that, instead of buying a bunch of individual games, which I'm sure it'll support. But it makes me think about the Steam box and what's the NVIDIA device? Is it called the Shield?
Yeah, the Shield. Yeah.
It makes me think about stuff like that, but it's Google, so I have to assume that they want a larger audience. They're going to try to capture Joe Schmo. Like, at the end of the day, are we the target audience for this? I'm not. I don't know enough about it. And then Apple turned around and announced something similar too, I recall.
Yeah, Apple Arcade. I didn't really dive into that. I'm guessing it's going to be pretty much the same thing. So
it's the same premise. It's a bunch of games. You can stream them. You pay for a service, which I guess that's the logical. People do that with music and movies now, right? So it makes sense that would happen with games. And I subscribe to Netflix, and I subscribe to Amazon Prime Music, and I like both of those services. But something about games, I don't know if I like it as much. It has the same problems. If Amazon lost the rights to certain music, if they lost the rights to Foo Fighters, and I wanted to listen to a Foo Fighters album, I would just suddenly not have access. But I don't. It feels different. Maybe it's because I'm more passionate about games, physical medium, because I have been alive almost as long as video games have been a thing. Whereas with music and movies, they've been around for a century. Music's been around for a century.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like, we're just old people that have been there almost since the beginning. So we're gonna be like those old people yelling at the clouds. But you know what? this is for pretty much the future, the future children and adults and stuff that are just going to be, this is the way they're going to play video games now. And
yeah, it's foolish to be like, oh, I don't want this to happen. It's gonna happen. You have to hope that it's handled well.
mm-hmm.
That's the best we can do, because this is the future. There's gonna be a discless Xbox One. Google Stadia is coming. Apple bullshit, arcade, whatever, it's coming. Game passes are a thing, and they're only gonna gain more and more steam. So, no pun intended.
What I've heard is that this is why I think it's still a little too early for something like this to happen. You really need really good internet to play this if you want almost no lag. I mean, you're gonna have latency because it's streaming. So I heard like 25 megs up or something like that, and then like 20 something down. I don't know, something outrageous where the like third world countries and some parts of the United States, they don't get that, and plus there's data caps and shit. So I still think it's too early. I mean, I think the internet ISPs need to change if they want to do things like Netflix and Google Stadia. But knowing ISPs is they're gonna want to make money, so they're just gonna up data plans probably. Be like, hey, you want to have streaming? Well, you have to get this plan.
Yeah, that's another totally different, nuanced issue about the internet, whether it's considered utility and some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what I was going to say. I had something separate to say, the ISP argument, but it's kind of early on. I want to know more about it, because I wonder, like, depending on the size of the game, if you keep a lot of it in cache, and I wonder if internet speeds could even be alleviated that way. It's the kind of thing, like you're saying, it's late. I agree with you about 80% of the way, but Google is the kind of company, it's like when the Xbox came out, it didn't even do that well, but Microsoft just had so much money, they could just afford to stay in the game until they started making money with the Xbox 360. So I kind of see Google doing the same thing with this. Stadia's going to come out, and everyone's going to be wish-washy on it, and have some deals. There's going to be the early adopters, and there's going to be Joe Schmo who's going to pick one up for his kids or something. Assume that they like Minecraft. And it's going to make some money, not a lot, and they're just going to stick with it until it starts making money. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm, like you said before, we're not saying don't do this. We understand. It's kind of like the pinball and Pong and Atari and shit. Like, we look at that back then. Yeah, we respect it because that's what the beginning was. Like, pinball is fucking awesome. Like, when I go to an arcade, I see a pinball machine, I go by it because that's how pretty much arcades kind of, went and stuff. It had pinball, there was Pac-Man, there was other shit, Donkey Kong, or Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, there you go. But I don't know. Like I said, it's still a little too early, but you said Google has a lot of money, but I will also say Google does have a lot of money, and they do have a lot of hit or misses. One being Google Plus, where apparently that was supposed to be the next Facebook, and it fucking flopped. But you know what? Google has a lot of money. This is kind of like the right people instead of like on live, where eventually his business do run out of money. I also heard the latency is not that bad compared to on live. What do you think the price is going to be for monthly?
$15.
I'm going to go 20. I think it's going to be 20 a month. And if they really get good titles, because I see people are playing Doom and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I think a lot of AAA companies might be going on Google Stadia. That's still in the future. I mean, I could totally see indies doing this too, that they can get a deal. Indie companies. Play like Hollow Knight or other games and shit. That would be pretty cool.
Maybe. I mean, if they can make money doing it, I don't know if smaller companies are going to have as much as much to gain from just licensing it once. It's one burst of income. That's something I'm trying to. I guess a lot of it. Again, this is a side tangent. But most indies have been making a ton of money on the Switch, even more so than Steam now. So I think they're starting to come into being recognized as, oh, this is a for real $15 game. Lots of people buy it. Maybe.
Oh, what I wanted to bring up, do you really think that, I mean, I know it's Google and everything, but it's going to be native 4K and 8K and run at 60 frames per second?
Depends on your up and down, man. I'm sure it'll have some capacity to do it, but you're going to need a developer that can develop a game clever enough to do it. You're going to need the device is going to have to support it. Your TV is going to have to support it. You're going to have all the right cables. You're going to have the right internet connection. Yeah, a lot of pegs go.
Mm-hmm. What else I was gonna... The one positive I think that I would buy this to use because they were talking about, like, if you go on YouTube and you watch a trailer of like a video game and be like, hey, I want to play this, there is like a demo section that you could play for like an hour. So I don't even think you have to buy the thing. I think on YouTube they're gonna add like a little Stadia thing, like a try a game for like 30 minutes to an hour demo, which would be pretty cool. Where I can go, hey, I don't know if I want to, spend money on buying this game. Let me just go try it for an hour using Google Stadia via YouTube. So, like, that's the only positive thing I could see myself doing so that I don't have to spend the full $60. That's what I kind of do with EA Access, the Origin thing, where, I wanted to try out Battlefield 5 and the other games, so let me just, spend $15 for that month and try out the game, and if I don't like it, I just cancel the service.
Yeah, something like that could work.
Yeah, so that's like a one positive thing I could get out of it, but for me to be like, I'm done with consoles and PC gaming, so I'm just gonna do the streaming service, no. I mean, maybe if I ever have kids and stuff, maybe that's what I'll do in the future. I don't know. But let's move on, since we killed Stadia. Let's go into something that a little more virtual. State of Play happened on the 25th, I believe. Yeah, it was a Monday, and it happened at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I got a notification on my phone. We're streaming on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
5 o'clock? Everyone's at work, you asshole. Yeah. Well, not everyone. Everyone's on their way home.
Yeah. But to kind of give like a background, Sony's not going to E3 this year. I believe Sony is adopting the Nintendo way of doing a direct, which I like. As someone that does like E3 and the conferences, I do like that maybe Sony's going to come out with a State of Play every month. I kind of don't like the name State of Play.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Like, I thought it was going to be a one-off name, but then I started getting the impression that it's their equivalent of Direct or whatever, and Microsoft has some version of it. And I'm not digging it either.
Mm-hmm. And people were starting to get a little hype. I think people got too overhyped. I didn't get overhyped, but I did think it was kind of disappointing in a way.
I was hyped, motherfucker!
Yeah, because you love PSVR.
Yeah, I mean, I on the PSVR, someone posted a meme. It's just that shot from The Office where he opens Venetian blinds and like smiles at the camera. Oh. It's like everyone on the internet, State of Play was a failure. PSVR owners, and it's that, but he's wearing the PSVR headsets. Because everyone who has a PSVR was like, yes! I want to play all of these things. They announced so many cool things. Oh, I want to play that Iron Man game so fucking bad.
Yeah, that looks good. No Man's Sky actually looks pretty good in VR. I will admit that.
Yeah, you can pick it up for like $10 at certain places. I think I might go do it just to have it for when this VR shit's.
Yeah, and it's super updated now, so it's not bare
Yeah,
boned like when it first
yeah.
came out.
Beyond, right? Uh,
Yeah, it's Beyond. No Man's
yeah.
Sky VR Beyond.
It sounds like something I could get down on.
Yeah, there's a Five Nights at Freddy's, which no, I'm not gonna fucking have a heart attack while I'm playing
Yeah,
a
I'm too
video.
scared. I can barely play Resident Evil 7 with fucking shit my pants.
Yeah, and other than that, yeah. Wait a second, like people sounded like the whole thing was VR. It's not really.
It wasn't. Yeah, there was non VR stuff in there.
There was some implemented VR in like the Concrete Genie, which looks interesting. I will say, I am. I made a joke, so I was like, "Oh, so this kid is breaking the law and doing graffiti." I get it. I like the art of it, but I'm probably not gonna buy that on day one. Days Gone is coming out soon, surprisingly, April 26th. It's a zombie game. If anybody remembers it, people thought it was like Last of Us Part 2, but it wasn't when it was at E3. I heard that there's gonna be like 6 hours of cutscenes. By the way, very Metal Gear-esque. So I'm kind of excited because I'm more of a story player than actual gameplay. I should just watch fucking movies then.
Nah, not necessarily. Sorry,
Mm-hmm. What I thought was really odd. Oh, and then they also showed Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. You could have the PlayStation skins and stuff, like the old Crash when it first came out, which is cool. Iron Man looked really, really cool. I just wish that it was a regular game, better than what the Xbox 360 version was.
I do not wish that. I think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, hopefully it's not like Arkham VR, where it was like a...
Oh, it's super short.
Yeah. Hopefully it's like a full game. But what was really odd to me about the state of play is, like, when you think of a Nintendo Direct or like an Xbox thing, you would end it on a game that is an exclusive to your company. In state of play, they chose Mortal Kombat 11, which the trailer looked really, really fucking cool.
Agree.
And I will be buying this. Are you getting it on the Switch or PlayStation?
Neither to start. Oh, I don't know. That's not a day one thing for me. I have some friends that are gonna get it, so I'm just gonna mooch theirs when.
Yeah, I'm holding off on the Switch just because I don't know if it's gonna. Because when WWE 2K19 came out, they had bad frame rate, so I don't know how the frame rate's gonna be on the Switch. So I'm gonna wait on that before I.
Yeah, a lot of developers are still trying to figure out how to get the best work out of the Switch, and it's kind of a shame. I see Nintendo doing what they do, and I mean, I don't know the inner workings, but I want Nintendo to go to these people and be like, no, you idiots, do this, and then get a bunch of really great games out of it.
Yeah. But yeah, it looked really cool. I think the story is that the present like characters are gonna be going back in time and fighting themselves and shit, which is kind of like Injustice in a way. So I hope the story writing is not lazy and they're just copying Injustice, but it seems like that. But I'm still gonna fucking play it. It's Mortal Kombat. Everybody fucking loves Mortal Kombat.
Real.
For you liked it because of VR. Me, I didn't get overhyped. I didn't go, hey, we're finally going to see about Death Stranding. We're finally going to see when Last of Us Part 2 comes out. The positive side I could say is this is a start. This is a really good start that will get updates. I wish they were a little more creative like Nintendo. Nintendo likes to have their in between where they have the developer or like a Reggie or a Bowser come out and talk. This one is just straight up trailers, which could be good because it's straight to the point.
They're learning. They're testing. But Sony recently filed a patent for a wireless PlayStation VR headset. Doesn't mean it's going to exist or anything, but it's a pretty detailed patent. A lot of people think it's pointing toward there's going to be a wireless headset that comes out. whether or not it's for the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5, we don't know. The
Mm.
patent shows the picture of a PlayStation 4. That doesn't mean anything. For the patent's sake, they just got to put generic game box. And I don't know. I saw that and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then the State of Play came out and they really showcased VR. And it made me think, man, Sony's doubling down on this VR thing. And I was scared to death after I got mine that they were back off because they're doing great. It's still like, it's got like a really passionate niche audience. Like people who have PlayStation VR. And it's not to say all of them. I got it. And now it's just kind of like us, you know, like the Wii did after whatever. But there's a lot of primo, really good stuff for PlayStation VR. I'm trying to keep up with like what all the good stuff is, and I think it's, you know, I mean, this should show. I think it's going to get better. So if you have the room for a PlayStation VR, I'd be looking out for that wireless headset. That, or when it comes out and people like me want to buy the wireless headset, you can buy my used one.
No, I'm probably gonna get the wireless one because the reason why I got rid of my wired one is because of wires. That's what really turns me off, because I did have the Vive. We do now, me and my brother do have the Oculus Rift because it's easy to set up. But
is it that the Oculus, what's it called, Journey or whatever? Or is it just a regular?
I know with the Oculus Rift you have like 2 cameras and then the headset and then the controllers and shit.
That sounds harder to set up than a PlayStation 2.
No, the cameras are on your desk. In the Vive, you had to put like in the corners of your room.
Oh right, yeah.
And what do you call it? The PSVR, I believe you just had the camera on your TV, and then you had the Move controllers, and then that little adapter and stuff. So I just don't like wires. so I will be getting the wireless if they do announce that. They also did a patent on trade-ins or something like that, where you could trade in digital games. So that's gonna be weird. I'm thinking that's gonna be more for PS5 than PS4.
I just hope they didn't like patent it, so no.
Hopefully.
Like just to prevent it from ever becoming an industry.
Just so that, you know, it's kind of like in WWE when, you know, NXT superstars go to the main roster and never use them. Going from State of Play to the Nindies Direct, which was kind of a surprise the week before the State of Play. I remember texting you and I was going, oh, there's the surprise Direct for Nindies.
Yeah, they always announce them like 2 days before.
Yeah. And if anybody doesn't know what Nindies Direct is, it's the indie developers for Nintendo, or indie developers going to Nintendo. And
they showed some fun stuff. They opened with, it was heavily rumored, but they still opened with what was a pretty effective show. They're gonna have a Cuphead here on the Switch. That's pretty cool.
What was funny is people were like, Microsoft lied. But then I was like, wait a second, Microsoft and Nintendo are friends, so this kind of makes sense.
They're, I don't know if they're buddies, but yeah, it's getting to that point. They're starting to be more friendly with each other. I don't think they view each other as direct competition.
Well,
and it's kind of thrilling.
Well, they did say in the Direct, and this is quotation in the article I'm reading, friends at Microsoft during the Cuphead area. And because of the rumors of the Game Pass being on Nintendo Switch soon, which is really interesting, by the way. Can't wait.
Yeah, I want to know how that's going to...
I can't wait to hear about that.
but they also... Rad looks great. It's Double Fine. They're great.
From Double Fine.
Zero Katana looked really, really cool. My friend Pedro, I was already on because the developer showed that off. It looks hilarious and great. I think there were others, but those are the ones that jumped to mind. Ones I'm excited about.
Darkwood looks good because I remember playing that on PC. It's like an over-top survival horror game. What else is there? Nuclear Throne is good on PC. I'm happy that's on Switch now. And Red Lantern looked really, really interesting. That's the
Oh yeah, that did look. I kind of wanted to see more.
yeah. I wonder if it's gonna be like a survival thing. I think that's what they were going for.
It made me think about like Firewatch, like a walkie kind of things are happening, but obviously a lot more happens because yeah, you're surviving.
It's a fucking bear.
You got to make sure you keep on healthy and stuff.
Yeah, and Stranger Things 3 is coming out in July 4th, the TV show and also the video game. What do you think about that video game, by the way?
I just from the trailer, the teaser, I'm really disappointed. It just looks so vanilla. Like something as cool as Stranger Things should have like a crazier, cooler, more interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of looks like an isometric. You're gonna beat stuff up and punch through doors and then beat some more stuff up. It doesn't look like anything interesting is happening, and that might be the bait and switch. Like they may still be doing something really interesting with it.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like with that property, they should do it all, man. I want to see something interesting, but it just looks like a vanilla,
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll wait and see.
I feel like Netflix was like, hey, Stranger Things 3 TV shows coming out. And, it'd be really cool if we had a game. And they're like, fuck it, let's make this game really quickly. And I feel
Doesn't the game cover something that the series made or something? It's like part of the story.
What I heard is that it's pretty much going to be the in-between of 2 and 3. So, it's kind of like a prequel. And that could be interesting. I think would be really meta is kind of like how they had Black Mirror Bandersnatch, where you get to choose things. I think it would be pretty cool if like the video game could somehow influence the TV show in some way. I don't know how you would do that, but I think it would be pretty cool if they somehow implement something like that. But in order for that to happen, the game would have probably had to come out first before the TV show, so that they could get stats on what people did.
Yeah, they're coming out the same day, right?
Yep. I'll give it a shot. First I'll look at it from other streamers and videos before I buy it, but I'll give it a shot if it looks good. Yeah, so that was a surprising Nindies. Some people shit on it because obviously people are still fucking mad about the other Direct where they didn't get any Animal Crossing or Metroid, so people need to shit on this one too. But go fuck yourself. Wall Street also announced that there's going to be 2 new Switches. Apparently there's going to be a mini where there's no detachable Joy-Cons. It's all going to be one system, which is really, really weird to me, but really cool, I guess, if it's cheaper than the Switch that we have now. Because maybe I'll buy that mini Switch so that I can bring it wherever I want to. So let's say they charge like, $200 or maybe $150. That'd be pretty cool to have. What do you think?
Maybe. Who? You said someone announced it?
Rumors on Wall Street Journal.
Oh.
But they've been right about all the rumors because apparently they have an inside guy in the business. And apparently the other Switch is supposed to be like an upgraded, kind of like with the 3DS, the new 3DS.
Yeah, I was thinking 2DS when you described it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the mini is kind of like a 2DS, and then the upgraded Switch is supposed to be like the new kind of thing, which
I gotta wait and see. Like, I could see, I'm the kind of guy that I'll be like, oh, want it, and then the second it's even $1 on sale, I'll pick it up. So I'm like, oh, it's a good deal. I'm stupid. But if they make an updated Switch, depending on what it does and why it's updated, I could see picking it up. The mini one, it doesn't appeal to me as much.
Mm-hmm. Like if it was cheap, on the cheap side, I think I'd probably get it so that I'm not worried that I will drop my current Switch outside, because you drop it, that's $300 you're breaking. if they
I
make...
don't know if I want the screen to be too much small.
Yeah, that was another thing I thought about, but again...
Honestly, it's like in the sweet spot. I really like the screen. I know you can't put it in your pocket like a 3DS. That breaks my heart, but that's the trade-off you gotta make for the sharp screen.
And if you look at airports and like public spots and shit, like you see people with Switches.
Yeah, for sure. I took mine to California and back.
Yeah, the Switch is so awesome. Handhelds are just awesome in general. Just playing games on the go, fucking amazing. We didn't complete any quest, right?
Nah, yeah, we can skip the segment.
Yep. On that note, everybody, I think that's the end of the episode. We did talk about Google Stadia a lot. I think we had to because we have strong feelings about that. And obviously we had to talk about the directs that both Sony and Nintendo did. Andy, you working on any project? You still working at Ultima thing?
Yeah, Ultima. Like I said, I'm going to stream it soonish. Well, maybe not tonight, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow the next day.
Alrighty.
Those are Thursday and Friday.
I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I know tomorrow I'm doing the Resident Evil 3 podcast with Zach, so keep an eye out on that until next week when I edit it and release it, just like how I do every episode of the Nemesis project. I might be streaming some Division 2, and I also working on some projects that I'm not going to announce yet because I feel like it's premature. And I don't want to do that. But if you want to catch all our episodes for both Escape from SideQuest and Big Trouble Little Podcast, make sure to go to novnetwork.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes. If you go to Nerd Review Network on iTunes, we're on there. I've seen a lot of people downloading on iTunes, but nobody's commenting. So make sure to comment on iTunes, give us a review on iTunes, give us a comment on Podbean. And we will talk about it on next episode. We will shout you out, or if you have any questions and shit, just post it in there. You could also talk to us on nerdreview.com, where we talk about nerdy things. That's where all our podcasts are posted there. And my friend Mike does a movie reviews on B-rated horror films. So if you're looking for B-rated horror films, he does reviews there. So go check it out on nerdreview.com. On that note, everybody, I think we're going to end this episode. So see you later, guys.
Thanks for listening.